Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Terry at Holding Your Space, and this is my friend Kelly from DznCat's Wellness Tarot.
Hello.
Yay. Hey, Annie Bear. Hi, Ethnicity. Nice to see you. Gosh, talk about a crazy week, huh?
Yeah,
So much stuff in the news and so much energy.
I tell you what, um, I am not like a political tarot reader. But I tell you, last night I was like, I need to go live. I got stuff to say. I got cards to throw, and I was like, I had to like literally talk myself off the ledge because I was chomping at the bit. It was a lot. It was a lot.
It was a lot going on, wasn't
It
it?
was a
It
lot.
was, yeah. I did just a little one, I think, the night before. Hi, Susan Finesse. Nice to see you. Um, I did a little one the night before because I don't do political either, as usually. I'm not adverse to it if something comes up, but
Right.
it's not our focus here. But um, I did do something on Santos like a month or
I've
two
seen that.
ago.
I've
Yeah,
seen
so I
it.
went into it again yesterday or something, but it wasn't, it was really just about us. It wasn't that much about him because who cares?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so there, in the last couple of days, and I think I do pretty good of not getting like caught up in the news or like the hype of what's going on. Like social media. You know what I mean? I try really hard not to fall into that rabbit trap. But
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I'm Canadian. I live in Canada, and the coronation
Oh,
friends, the stuff they hate. I mean, my God, can we just let it go already? And what I mean by that is, I mean, you know, let's just focus on the people that are there and the time that was had for what it was. Do you know what I mean? And rather than picking apart, who wore what brooch and who wore whose earrings, and then someone living in the States, how dare they wear a watch that they think belonged to I'm like, oh my goodness, can we get on with it? I mean, people
yeah.
are dying.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, people are dying. There's way more important to go anyway. So and then all of this stuff, and I was like, I need to step back. So
I hear ya.
I just read my book and played my games on my phone, and played with my animals, and
Yeah. Well, Tyler doesn't like it either. My dog's going crazy about it.
it's got something to say. Love it.
Hypnicity, you're a recovering news junkie. I think the entire world is a recovering news junkie right now, don't you? It's like all the stuff that's been going on the planet in the last, I don't know what,
You know
6
what's
years.
really hard is to know like when is enough. Do you know what I mean? Like when have you got enough of a dose of it for you to feel like you know what you need to know, but that you can like leave it there, once you close like the tablet kind of thing, and you can like get on with your day. You know what I mean? Like
Right?
that has been my struggle, right? So I will sit there and I'll get really invested and I'll start like hollering at the television or whatever. I'm like, nope, stop. And I'll be honest, I haven't watched the news. Well, this is like a whole long story, but without, just to the point that we're talking about, I don't watch television, like
Mhm.
generally speaking. My mother and my husband, for whatever reason, CNN, whatever, on loop, like 24/7, first thing in the morning till last thing at night. And it actually, like, I think it affected me in some way because I'm like mute. I can't, like, it's like not, it's too much noise or chatter or something.
Yeah.
So I don't
Well,
do that.
sorry.
No, no,
Um,
no.
no, there's I feel the same. Um, I felt like that when it first started, and I wanted to be informed about everything, and and to do that, I felt like I had to watch all the channels and get all the information from all sides. And then I went the other way. And hypnosis, yeah, a good balance is hard to find. You're right.
Yeah.
And then I quit listening to anything. And then I went to see Marianne Williamson speak a year ago, and whom I love. And I've been able to see her quite a bit. Well, 4 times in my life, and I'm so happy with it. But she was talking about how, as a spiritual community, so many of us have turned our backs on politics. And she said, these are the people that need to be involved because we need to change things and we need to bring it back into balance.
Well, you take, I mean, to that point, you take what happened last night at the town hall.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to trigger anybody, but that particular sort of argument is now being made, right? Similar to like the 60 Minutes video or show that was done with MTG. You know, should they have given that person, that sort of toxic personality, a platform to spread more disinformation? And well, we'll just say that. Yeah. And that's being polite. There's an argument for why you would do that, because for anyone who is rational, that has shied away from political or from news, may view that in a different light than they would like hearing the regular news broadcasts, and you know, the highlight reel. And then on the other side, of course, it's like, why would you give them a platform to continue to spread it? So, you know, I don't know which is the right thing. I only know what's right for me in the moment that it's right in. So I sort of navigate it like, how do I feel and do I really care about that?
So that's so important, isn't it, Kelly? Is to check in with ourselves and how our bodies feel, how our spirit feels, how our emotions feel. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things to say. For anyone that follows me, they know that they're probably at least once a week in my daily videos that I do. I'm like, check in with yourself. Like it's just, it's because that's what I have to do. That I have anxiety, panic disorder, and depression. And so I have to check in with myself in a very real way, right? To assess whether whatever is happening to me in that moment is my reality or if it's my fear that's driving it. So I have to check in with myself, and through trusting the checking in with myself process, it has allowed me to feel, oh wow, look at you, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was like, wow, look at me, my name in lights, woohoo! But because I've had to do that, I've learned to and I've learned to trust it. I use that as my, you know, my North Star. That's my gauge, right?
Yeah. That's a big lesson to learn, isn't it? I mean, it's huge. Yeah. So,
I like what Hypnocity said. One person's toxin is another person's food for thought. Absolutely. It's like one man's, what's that saying? One man's trash is another man's treasure. I mean, because we all have different perspectives, right?
Yeah. Susan says, I try not to watch the news, but my mother, who I live with, watches a lot of news. The immigrants at the border have your border's interest, though. I hope they get help soon. Yeah, Susan, definitely. I'm first generation on one side and second generation on the other. So definitely.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Mary. No, but I mean, I get it. I get it. Last night, like I said, I was hollering at the TV. I couldn't believe that. I mean, in my personal opinion, more harm than good. And if I may I say that the reason why I thought it was more harm than good was not necessarily because of giving him that platform.
Yeah.
It was the audience and their reaction. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have had the great pleasure of going to Hollywood or New York and watching a live taping of a TV show.
No.
I have. And they have like these big applause signs and people that literally their job is to like work up the audience into a frenzy. And so what they'll say is, you know, we're about to cut to commercial, and they'll tell you this before the taping starts, that when that happens, the sign will light up and there's like a bunch of them, and then we're supposed to clap before we go to commercial or whatever the case may be, or when a new person is introduced or whatever. And it was almost as if that was what was happening. Like in my mind, when I was listening to the little snippet, because I didn't watch the whole thing, it was just a little clip on YouTube. And I heard the laughter. I had a physical, like I felt ill.
Yeah. You know, there's I was watching.
My allergies are really bad, you guys. I'm sorry. My nose is running and all kinds of things are happening here. So sorry.
Bless her heart, Kelly. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's get off this and let's talk about us. Let's talk about you, baby. Okay.
Me.
So, Kelly,
well,
first off, I want to know what brought you here.
What brought me to here? Well, you invited me. I'm joking. I knew what you meant. So, okay. So the story is that, in a nutshell, as I said, I have diagnosed anxiety, panic disorder, and depression. And that was diagnosed just after my mom died. So my mom died, and the day after my mom died, I found out my father was terminal when I was trying to call my father to tell my father that my mother had passed. I couldn't do it. I hung up the phone, and I phoned my uncle and said, I can't do it, tears, whatever. And my uncle told me that he would tell my dad, and that, by the way, your father's terminal. So for like 4.5 years, we navigated that space. And I have to be honest that I didn't know what was happening to me. Like I had no idea. And of course I went to the doctor and all that kind of stuff. And I wasn't accepting, right? I'm not the kind of person that like loses control. So for me to be losing control in the way that I was not really an option, if you will. And so I became very angry at myself. Anyway, lots of therapy from lots of different therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, lots of doctors, them trying to give me all kinds of pills, navigating the last 10 years. My stepfather, so my mom's husband, passed away.
So sorry, all your losses.
Thank you. We were told, I was told that I was my mom's executor. And the day after my mother passed, I found out I was not my mom's executor, even though 3 days before she passed, she told me that I was. So then I was told that I was co-executor. Now, I don't give two craps about the money. It wasn't about that. It was about the fact that I thought that I had a job to do to provide my mother's last wishes. And I only knew one wish out loud. And because my mother was like sleeping with the enemy organized, which is where I like to think that I get it from. Like if you open up her linen cupboard, all the towels were folded in the exact same way, facing the exact same direction, and they were color coordinated. And you better not mess that up, because if you did, you would be taken to the closet. She would open up the door and point, and you would have to fix whatever you screwed up. So to think that a person like that, my mother was like an accountant, a credit manager person, to think that a person that was so organized could be so haphazard in their personal affairs was not something that I was willing to accept. And so that was a huge part of my anxiety, not knowing whether my mother didn't think that I could handle the truth, or did you lie to me? Were you coerced in some way? Like, those are the things that messed me up. And so consequently, what ended up happening is my mother was never interred. She never had a service because her husband decided that that was what he wanted. So the only wish that she ever said out loud, which is where she wanted to be placed, he told us couldn't happen because they don't do that anymore. And so after he passed, where we found out that we were, not only was I not the co-executor, we weren't a beneficiary, we were given nothing. And sorry, now I'm tearing up. And so we got a lawyer, and we fought to get our mother's ashes, and we were successful, and we were able to fulfill my mother's wish. Thank God. So grateful. What a blessing. And that was 2 summers ago in 2021. She died in 2012.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
So that was a long time. Now, I know that many people have all kinds of horrible and tragic situations, but my not being able to navigate that was what started my anxiety. And when I came to YouTube, I don't tell anybody, it's a secret, I have a thing for tarot scopes. Like, I'm all about the tarot scopes, right? I want to know, like, the zodiac signs for, like, what's going to happen this week, what's going to happen this month. I'm a total junkie. Don't tell anybody. So I started coming to YouTube, because we were in this big lawsuit, and I was like, I want to know what's going on. I'd never thrown a tarot card, never thrown an oracle card. I knew what they were, never threw them. And somehow I found myself in the spiritual community, and found out that I could ask a question and someone could answer and maybe channel my mom. And I was like, I'm hooked. The people in the chat, you have no idea how powerful your presence and your support is to people like myself who are broken and who are hurting. You literally saved my life. You literally changed my life and allowed me to now be where I am, which is so much better than where I was. And so the chat kept me going. They kept encouraging me and kept sending me love and support, and just saying hi can make all the difference in the world to somebody, right?
Yeah.
And
smile.
Absolutely. And one thing led to another, and then Ali was from Heart and Soul Connected was doing a show called what the heck was their show called? Resilience in the Time of Fascism or Plague. And that's in the middle of the pandemic, and it came out that I don't leave my house. My anxiety has crippled me with fear, and it has hijacked my life, and I am afraid to leave my home. So I don't leave my house. I mean, and that's not a joke. Like, I don't leave my home at all. And so I went on there and I told my story to Ali, because in the time when everyone else was feeling isolated, I actually felt more normal, because now everyone was doing what I was doing. Now they understood how I felt, right?
Yeah.
Now everyone was talking about how being sort of stuck in was affecting them mentally, right? And I was like, hello. Like, I've been saying this, and when you have something that is difficult to explain to others, that they will sometimes deem it, less than or non-important. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And so I went on Allie's show, and the love that I got, and the people showed up, and they were, you need to share this because people need to hear this. And in that moment, because I am a Leo, and in that moment, I was like, yes, I'm going to start a channel. Okay, I'm doing it. And that's when I did. That was it. So my goal when I started my channel, long story short, is to do two things. One, to take the blame and the shame out of saying that I have anxiety, panic disorder, or any whatever. I have a hangnail. We are not defined by the ailments or the illnesses that we live with. We are still us. And that was probably the biggest obstacle that I have had to overcome in terms of being able to get a hold of this anxiety instead of the anxiety having a hold on me, was to understand that I am still Kelly. And you know what? Kelly's okay.
Yeah. Kelly's
Right?
amazing.
Thank you, my friend. I love you.
Yeah.
And so here we are. And, then I started tossing oracle cards and sharing stories with people. And I mean, I was a part of and sharing and witnessing and just like healing, like happening right before my, it's breathtaking to be a part of that. And I am so, I don't have a word. Like it's beyond blessed, beyond thankful, beyond appreciative, that people trust me with the stuff that they have trusted me with and share with me the stuff that they have shared. And I mean, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know where it's going to end or if it ever will. But, all of the other things that have happened because of that, in terms of my connection to spirit and all of these other kinds of things, the friendships that I've made, the people that I've met, the sheer wonderful people that I've worked with, it just doesn't stop. You know what I mean? It's like one awesome day after another. And that in itself is a huge blessing, because there was a big time in my life where I didn't think that I was ever going to be happy again.
Oh.
So that's what I do. That's why I'm here.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for your vulnerability. That's huge. And
thank you, City.
Yeah, she's so sweet. Jeff says, keep it progressive, love.
Thank
love
you,
it.
everybody.
Yeah, you're getting so much love here. I just watched I don't know how that came back on, but that works too. So I'm tearing up here too. So there's a thing I just watched, Brene Brown, and she was talking about how when she started out, this is a really old TED Talk, and she was talking about how she was studying people that had joy in their lives and people that were successful, and she found that you couldn't really do that. You couldn't come into a sense of community without vulnerability and trust together. Like you can't just be trusting. If you study trust, there has to be a vulnerability.
100%.
And I think those three together: community, vulnerability, and trust.
Yeah, well, it's like in my case, I don't know that I would have sat and wrote those three words on a piece of paper. For me, it was like I was desperate. I was desperate for someone to just say, "I hear you. I hear you."
Yeah. Yeah.
I was desperate for someone to say, "I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Get it." Because for anybody out there that has had a situation, whether it be a conflict with a person or an actual situation that you're trying to navigate, when you don't understand why things are happening the way that they are, it is very difficult to explain it to another person. I didn't understand why I was having 5 to 8 panic attacks a day, why I was afraid to go in the shower, why I was afraid to leave my home. I don't know why. But that was my reality. And after a certain point in time, I don't know that it mattered to me why. I just wanted it to stop or slow down enough that I could grab a hold of it and try to like navigate it better. Do you know what I mean? So I felt like I
Oh, I
had
know.
more control over my life. This is my kitty cat, Quincy.
Oh,
He's
when
one
he's
of
so,
3. No, I don't have 12 cats.
oh, he looks like a panther, doesn't he? So beautiful.
He has a little spot right there. Did you see it?
Oh, yeah,
Right,
I
like
did
right
for a
there.
quick second, but his eyes,
He's
those
like, he looks
eyes.
like he had a tracheotomy. He's like a little white spot.
How
What
cute.
I was gonna say was this. So through this whole journey, I've done a lot of things. I've learned a lot of things. I am nowhere near where I need to be. But my channel, I treat it sort of like my virtual journey or my virtual journal log. I've done a forgiveness ceremony. That was one of the first things that I did when I started my channel. I come on and I do my Achieving Wellness, which is like, once a month where I talk about different topics, um, you know, and I try to bring people to the channel that can share information that can help people that are working through things. I started one step at a time, which is me literally leaving the house once. Oh, what, you want to be the star of the show now?
Oh, the
Hello, look at me.
baby.
Look at me. I'm Quincy.
Quincy, so
Here.
cute.
All right. He wants to be the star. Here, be the star. Use mommy's pendulum. There you go, darling.
Oh,
There you go. Show
oh,
everybody how beautiful you are. That's right.
those eyes and those ears, everything about him. He's just gorgeous.
So, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, for all of the time that I beat myself up because I wasn't where I thought I should be at a particular point, I know that is very real to other people. Other people also feel that, right?
Yeah.
That they're not where they should be, or how come I don't get this yet, or how come I haven't felt like a change. That is another reason why I do my channel, because I want people to know that it's okay if you go up and you feel like you're going down, or that you're not where you think you're supposed to be, or whatever the case may be. You're supported, you're loved, you're not alone, and together we can navigate this space, right?
Yeah, 100%. And I think opening up to people like you are and being vulnerable shows them that there's a place to be, a place where they belong to. Yeah, I know. When my husband was dying, it was just, who do you tell your story to, right? Who's going to hold space for you? Who's going to listen without just giving you a million things you can do to get yours, or else just go out there, just get out of the house, just go.
Exactly. Well, because
Yeah.
everybody, we all have those people in our lives who want to help, who
Yeah.
love us so very much,
Yeah.
but they don't know what to say. And because you've been through that situation, and for anyone in the chat, I don't know if this is if you lived this situation, but this was my experience. There were days that if you said to me, I'm sorry about your mom, or blah blah blah, whatever about your mom, and I would be like, thank you very much, then that same person could say that to me 2 days later, and I want to rip their head off because I wasn't in a good spot. Do you understand what I mean? Even there was nothing wrong with what they were saying. I just wasn't in a spot where I was. So not only was I physically broken, I was mentally broken at the same time. And the two were having a conversation that I was not involved in. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Mind, body, spirit. It is so mind, body, spirit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Oh, I love that, Annie Bear. That's a great question.
yeah. And Hypnicity's also saying, Kelly is giving me the inspiration to start a channel. Now I just need confidence.
Okay, you don't need confidence. You need to trust. The biggest gift that I have received from doing my channel is that it's okay to trust myself again. Because with my anxiety, I would second guess and third guess and fourth guess and sometimes fifth guess everything that I do, because it was coming from a place of fear, right? And I don't want any decision that I make to be based in fear.
Yeah.
So you start to question your reality, right? So what I'm saying to you is this: I had to learn to trust myself. I had to learn to trust my connection. I had to learn to trust that you want to share your stories with me, and that I'm going to share mine, and we're going to work together as you know, like a great sort of engine, and mechanically sort of make this whole experience work to be beneficial for people.
Yeah.
People think that I have confidence. I don't have a lot of confidence. It's not easy to come out here and share your story. But where I'm going with it is this: what I get when someone says something like that to me, then I know that that's why I'm here. So trust yourself. In Hypnicity, you want to come on with me, you can come on with me. I will do whatever I can to help you.
Me too, Hypnicity. Annie has a great question.
Yes.
Kelly, what would you say to your 90-year-old self or your 4-year-old self?
Okay, so my 4-year-old self, I would say, you're a cheeky monkey. That's what I would say.
Cheeky monkey. I love that.
And my 90-year-old self, I would say, girl, you did it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh, you're getting so much love here. Let's see. Yes, we all feel alone at times, and we are not alone. Everyone's different. Loss of loved ones takes time.
Yeah.
Right, Sonia? Everybody's time frame is
100%.
different. And we really don't, in the Western world, have a way to acknowledge easily if somebody is grieving or going through trauma.
And we're not taught to talk. I mean, we're not taught to talk about it. We're not taught how to deal with the feelings that we have. We're you know, and my mom, I love my mother more than life itself. I mean, she actually said to me one time, "Why do you put me on a pedestal?" I'm like, "Because you're my mom." Hello. Seemed like a silly question to me, but I recognize some of the trauma. Right? My parents got divorced, and like we couldn't say my dad's name out loud. You know, my father didn't speak to us for 8 months after my mother died because we didn't tell him that our mom was sick, because she made us promise not to. I was 45 years old. I wasn't 14.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of damage can happen, whether it was intended or whether it wasn't. I have to say that on the other side of that journey, and now being in this spiritual community, I understand the connection between like point A and point B, whereas I don't think that I fully understood it before. People would say, "Oh, just forgive it, just release it, let it go." I mean, I get it. I know what those words mean. But in terms of how you actually navigate that, how you actually empower yourself to reclaim your power back, how you actually empower yourself or fulfill yourself to speak your truth, whether you actually say it to anyone or not, is not really the point. But see, I took it literally. I thought that's what it meant I had to do. I wasn't ready to do that.
Yeah.
And then we miss out, right?
Yeah. So, and I love what you said about having to be, you know, secluded. And people did learn how to listen, because we're not taught how to listen either. We're not taught to hold space for somebody and then ask them, Is it okay if I respond, or do you just want affirmations?
Yeah.
And I had to learn that through my daughter going through trauma therapy.
Yeah.
And then immediately I went into trauma therapy with her therapist because I was like, oh man, you're good. I want this.
Right.
But, and also there's so much with the brain, the body with it, neuroplasticity, because we get ingrained in these skills of putting up these walls and learning to listen to our bodies, like you check in daily. That's amazing. Yeah, it's huge.
I don't know that I listen every day, but I check it every day. I'm going to tell you guys a funny story. This is about the checking in. Okay. I don't read for myself because I feel like I can't.
I can't.
Which I don't know why I feel like I can't, because for anyone that follows me, you've heard me in my daily videos where I'm, tossing out the cards and all of a sudden I'm like, these are totally for me. Hope it resonates with someone else. Like I'll own it. But anyway, so one day I'm standing in the kitchen. This is maybe, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. I'm in the kitchen and all of a sudden the thought occurs to me, I should do a reading for myself. Well, when when we get a message like that out of the blue, we need to act. Spirit is asking us to act. So I'm like, okay. So I come back here to the office and I get my cards out and shuffle. And I'm like, ding, ding, ding. And I get like the Tower and the Devil. I'm like, ooh, what's that about? So I get another deck of cards and then like I get the Tower and something else. And I was like, so I get another deck of cards and I'm like, and I get the Tower again. And I literally sat here and this is what I did. So in the beginning of all of my daily readings, I say that I can't, it's like if someone asks you your social insurance number, you can't say it, you know what I mean? Or your social, you guys, it's your social security number, but you know it. So I have the blurb and it just comes out of me. It's not memorized, but I guess it is. So basically what it is that it's the daily reading and it's meant to put a little spring in our step and some food for thought, something to help us as we navigate. If it resonates, claim it. If it doesn't, leave it behind. That's the blurb. And so I put down the 3 Tower cards and I'm like, yeah, I'm this doesn't resonate. I'm not claiming it. This doesn't belong for me. And I got up and I walked away and I was like, well, at first I was all ashamed of myself and then I laughed. And when I laughed, that brought a smile to my face because I thought, this is one of those moments where I can see growth and healing that has occurred, and I can actually look upon it with like a sense of humor instead of getting emotional, if you will. That I was able to just go, you know what? I'm not going to let this affect me, and I'm not going to read into anything. I'm going to give it up to the universe, and whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I'm just going to go about my day. I'm not going to let it hijack any emotions or any time with me thinking about it. And I told everybody that story, but the point that I'm making is sometimes we get so stuck in a pattern of behavior or a pattern of thought behavior that it's very difficult for us to get out of it. And in that moment that's just an example of how I was able to change that thought pattern, because normally I would have thrown that down. I would have called everyone I know. I would have totally obsessed about it. I would have called all the readers that I know and went, throw some cards, something's going to happen. Like, no, I would have done that.
Yeah.
But I can't allow myself to go down those rabbit holes. And we can all do that. Like, we all have the ability to restrain and retrain ourselves. You know that shoe salesman that's in the back of your mind, that the critical thinker, the negative person, that little voice, whatever you want to call him, or it. I call him the used salesman. Or the used car salesman, which is, no offense to used car salespeople, but that's what I call him. And I'm like, you be quiet. I am not buying what you are selling today. I'm just not. So you just stop. Sometimes I need that voice.
Sure. So Susan wants to know if anything happened after those readings.
No.
Yeah. Cognitive.
Oh my gosh.
Therapy, right?
the best, the best, the best, the best, the best, the best, the best. It literally changes how you think.
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to look at something from a this very simplified, from a half empty to a half full.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you have to be consistent, consecutive, and constantly trying to, like, see something in a written form, hear something, feel something, and pick out the parts that are negative and interject some more positive to be able to boost it up enough that you could embrace it and hold on to it and not be doing damage to yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing, all those tools. And, I'd gone the spiritual path for a long time with trauma, thinking that was it. But there's also that brain connection, the neuroplasticity and the CBT. That's huge. Going into that and working with it.
Well,
So
and there's
many
all that
tools out
stuff
there.
too, right, Terry, about, like, not only is it emotional, right, but then there's all the physical attributes that people don't associate with anxiety. I mean, the headaches, the nauseous feeling, the off balance feeling, it's sort of like a combination of dizzy and vertigo ish, but not to an extreme, right?
Right.
You get little electric shocky kind of things in your fingers and in your toes. Your heart races, your throat closes up. You can't focus, you can't concentrate. The list goes on and on and on. And like, it's difficult to navigate, as anything is, right? But when you don't know it, when nobody explains that part to you, you literally are like, oh my God, what's happening to me?
Yeah. And you think there's something wrong with you, so you don't want to discuss it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sonia, you say yes. Annie Bear puts it in third person anxiety.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's excellent.
I love
And
that, Annie
Sonia
Beer.
does
I do.
too.
I really, really like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can find Hypnocity. You can find cognitive behavioral therapy. If you type it into Google, there are some websites where you can get free sort of like pages from the workbook to help you navigate some of the lessons. Sorry, I do this. I just start tossing cards for no particular
I do
reason.
too. It's cool. Do you want to throw some cards? Or?
I shuffle them because I have a nasty habit, and sometimes I get a little hyper or a little antsy, and so I just start tossing my cards. And I like doing this because sometimes the cards will sort of mimic what we're talking about, right?
Well, let's do
We're
it.
testing my
Let's do it.
connection. So we've got, this is from, what is this deck called? Message from the Spirits of Nature Oracle. And we've got the river and flow.
Mm.
So to me, this message, in the context of what we're talking about, this is learning how to navigate the obstacles. So think of the river, right? The boot, the old boot that's in the middle of the river, the logs, the rocks. Some parts of the river are going to be wider than not, and it's going to have curves, and it's going to go up and it's going to go down. And this is about navigating those obstacles without making them feel like they were a challenge, right? To be able to navigate that from a place that you can still feel empowered and fulfilled. That's what I think that means.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yes, Sonia, I agree. I refused all of it. And I'm not, listen, if you take meds for any kind of mental health disorder, I you do you. No shade. I have reasons why I don't, and I did not. But yeah, I made the road just a little bit harder, I think, by doing that.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Terry?
Oh, I think I know that book, Carol. I think my kids, I bought the whole library of those books.
I love
I know
that,
those.
girl.
Yeah. Okay, I got study. So here
Yeah.
he is. He's going over the rainbow, trying to figure out what's going on. And sometimes it's full spectrum, right? It's full spectrum universe. And it's not just healing like we were talking about. It's not just healing our emotions, our anxiety. It's also healing our spirit. And
Yeah.
it's though I would say spirit is always divine, our connection to spirit. Let me say it that way. And then also healing our physical form because we catch all that inside our bodies. I mean, inside our hips, our psoas, and inside our hearts and our shoulders. And then eventually it winds up being other ailments throughout your body.
Yeah.
So studying, get that CBT or whatever's going to work for you. There's so many people out there, and there's so many people at a discount or have things for free,
Yes.
especially on YouTube. YouTube has just been a wealth of information, I think, spirituality
100%.
and emotions and everything. It's
Yeah.
been huge.
Susan Lynn, Psychic Medium, has an excellent exercise called, are you ready for this, friends? The damn thing. That's what it's called. That's not a joke. And I have a funny story about that. So I invited Susan Lynn to the channel, to DznCat's, to talk about the damn thing because I found it so helpful. And she agreed, and she came. I think I had the channel like 3 or 4 months, and she came and she was like, I don't actually remember what it was because it was channeled through spirit. I was like, great. So we literally had nothing to talk about. But the people in the chat helped us. It was great. Anyway, so the damn thing helps you. So if you have a problem or if you have a reaction that you are not like wanting to sort of break, shall we say. So if your habit is to always like freak out and get stressed, you would do this exercise to break down what it is about said situation that's making you do said reaction.
I love that. She's amazing, Susan Lynn. She's been kind of out of my algorithm for a long time, and I just started watching her again.
Oh, really?
Oh my God.
I think a lot of people associate Susan Lynn with political stuff, but she has amazing lessons in terms of, how to cope and deal. And I really appreciate that.
I'm working with your guides and
Yes.
yeah.
She was on last time and we had the most amazing experience. She brought in her dad and let everyone in the chat, and I think Hypnocity, I think you were there in the chat with us. And let us sort of all say what we were feeling because we're talking about the different clairs, right? And how it is that you connect.
Yeah.
Now, someone asked me a question earlier about channeling or connecting to my mom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
My mom is all around me, and I have recently, or not so recently, discovered that I too have the ability to channel. Who knew? And I've never channeled anyone in my own family, just other people's. And I'm still working on doing that. But I have had the pleasure of having many readings. And I had the most amazing healing exercise given to me through someone else and myself and my mom and the whole team, and that was at the very beginning of when I started my channel. And I think that along with the forgiveness information that I was given from someone within this community was the two things that really sort of helped push me past a point that where I felt like I had been stuck for a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's I found that going to guides and intuitive really helped a lot.
Yeah.
And then for a while I was like, well, who needs a therapist, right? Because you got all these wonderful
100%.
people Yeah.
Like, I've had Johnny Tiro's Apprentice on the channel a few times, and for whatever reason, I don't know. I'm not saying I don't know why, because he's, he's awesome. He's a great reader. But when him and I get together, we're going to read. He's like, it's going to happen. I'm telling you. And the lights start going out, and I'm like, okay, just stop it.
I love it. I love it.
You're right. Hypnicity, forgiveness for a lot of us is a key factor, and something that's so important when it comes to forgiveness is to understand that it's not about forgiving a person or an act or a situation or even a time. It is about reclaiming your power back. It is sort of taking that the knife or the axe and cutting that off and saying, no more. I'm not living back there. I want to regain my life, my joy, my open heart, my love, my whatever words you want to put in there. That's what you're doing. You're giving yourself permission to take your power back so that you're not held back or weighted down from what happened back there, because that belongs back there, not here. And you, like I, meaning anyone who's in that situation, I wasted 10 years of my life worried about what happened back there and missed every part of the journey that I was in.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I had some stuff that I was having a hard time letting go of too, and I'm working with this coach right now. It's Beyond Surviving for kids that have been through childhood trauma, and one of my favorite things was the box therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to put your abuser or someone that's done something to you, well, that's an abuser, right? And put them in a box and say, and label them. So either they were an abusive or they were whatever. Well, then your label on your box says, I'm the victim. So the longer you keep looking at them as the abuser, you're still the victim. But if you change those terms and just say, he was a no good, dirty, rotten, blah, 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 blah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you turn out to be, that was not my fault.
Yeah.
I am a survivor.
Yeah.
On your label. So that was huge for me. And then I also wrote a letter.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot too. And I laid it out big time. So
I did a forgiveness ceremony, I called it, because for lack of a better word to put on it, where I wrote letters to people, and I burned them. I did it live on my channel because because I didn't think I was going to be brave enough to follow through with it when on my own, and I'm just owning that. And secondly, because I thought it could be important that in terms of someone else might be inspired to do something along the same lines. And it instantly felt the sense of whew. It was amazing. I don't cook dinner on a regular night, and I came in from that and cooked dinner for myself and my husband. So I was like, this is amazing.
Was this the other day when you did that burn ceremony?
That was just a mini kind of like release, right?
Okay.
Like whatever negativity you may be holding on to, or whatever. I mean, you can put any label on it you want. It's about, getting rid of what's weighing you down. That's kind of the way I like to say it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
Oh, that's a very kind thing to say, Annie Bear. You know what? I'm very lucky. My husband is very, 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 very supportive. Everybody in the community knows him. He now pops into other people's chats and says hi to them. He'll say to me like, "Oh, Allie's on," or "Oh, so and so's on," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
What's his name?
His name is Mark.
My
and you'll see
God.
him. He'll pop in the chat sometimes, and he is, Kelmar is Kelly Mark. It's not that original, but that's the name. And he's my biggest cheerleader. He's my number one moderator in chief, and I would be lost without him. So
That's so sweet. I love that.
he's
I love
just glad that I am out of the shadow. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and starting to see light again. I think that the more time that I spend on my channel, the more I feel content and love and happy, and he sees that, and he's like, he'll say to me, he'll like, "Are you going on?" So I don't know if he's trying to get rid of me or if he's really vibing it. But anyway, I'm kidding.
Well, that's another question. What brings you joy? You might have just answered it.
Well, it's funny that you say that. So I start all kinds of little segments on my channel because I like to keep things interesting, and because I'm still opening up. It's like, oh, this is so exciting. I need to share this. So one of the things that I started doing is the DznCat's journal entry. And every once in a while I'll pop on, and it's just, something that came to mind that I was journaling and I thought I would share it. And one of those things was that type of question. And it was like, when, okay, this is what it was. During the month of February, I dedicated the month of February to things that, what matters to your heart. And what mattered to my heart was joy and peace and that sense of contentment that I once had. I want that back. And while I was saying it and talking and writing it, I was like, oh my God, I have it. And I didn't even realize it. I've already achieved it.
That's beautiful.
It was such an amazing and powerful moment and realization that I actually sort of I felt like I was on cloud 9 for about 3 weeks, if I can be honest, just because I never thought I was going to get there. You know what I mean? Never thought I was ever going to get that part of my life back. And I was like, oh my God, I'm already here. This is absolutely amazing. And so, sometimes, you get caught on that hamster wheel, and things can, insignificant or seemingly insignificant things can pass us by. And that's why I say it's important to check in with yourself so that you don't miss any of those things, because those things can make the most amazingly massive difference in how you react and how you treat yourself in terms of feeling empowered and feeling fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you have been dealing with, beating yourself up, negative emotions, self-sabotaging, all of those kinds of things, dealing with past hurts and traumas that you've shoved down for years and years and years and years. A moment like that, I mean, my God, it can make your month. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Why wouldn't you want that?
Yeah. When you feel that joy again, it's like a cool glass of water. It just comes in.
100%. Well, that was a lot nicer than the way I said it. But yes, cool glass of water.
But you didn't realize how thirsty you were all this time, right?
Right?
It just comes in, and it's like, I missed you. Or that's how I feel. And every once in a while, I feel joy, and I'm like, oh yeah, is this what normal people feel?
Yeah. Mirror work, I was going to mention, and you just made me say it when you said you see yourself. Mirror work is my very best friend. Mirror work has helped me immensely. I was doing mirror work before I realized mirror work was a thing.
Yeah.
But it has helped me a lot. And I have a couple of samples on my channel that I've done because a lot of people are like, I don't really understand it. And I feel that you could make mirror work your own. But you got to be gentle with it, because it can be one of those surprising tools in terms of what you think you may get is not exactly what you may get. and it can be very emotional and very sort of overwhelming but empowering all at the same time. And so you need to be prepared for that and sort of set boundaries for yourself, that you're not going to go too far or too deep right away. Like, you sort of got to work up to it. But I mean, honestly, mirror work stopped me from having panic attacks.
Yeah.
I haven't had a panic attack, double touch wood, since 2015. And I used to have like 5 to 8 a day. So.
Wow. That's great.
And I didn't use any medication. It was all because of the mirror work.
I know that you have a real tie to animals.
Yes, ma'am.
So is there a story there as a child, or is it, how does that feel in your heart?
Wanted to be a veterinarian when I knew what a vet was. I've always had animals. There's something about the love that they give you. Like, my favorite thing to do, I can't believe I'm sharing this. And it seems a little extreme. Like, when I say it in my head, it sounds perfectly natural and normal. When I say it out loud, I'm like, wow, friend, I don't know. But, you're walking along and you see them on the bed, right? And they're all like just laying there, and the sun's coming in on that perfect angle. And they're just like, it's like the warmest blanket. Kelly, like, it's just calling me. And I'm like, oh, nap. And I just walk in there and sort of like, curl myself around them, and then they all leave because I've disturbed them. And then I fall asleep, and I'm like, thanks a lot. But there's something about the unconditional love and the comfort, really, that they have always given me. Yeah. That, like, I'm obsessed. I can't seem to have enough. Like, right now we have 4 animals in the house, and that's a lot. So I'm gonna have to stop bringing animals in the house. But I love animals, and I feel like there's something about the comfort that's what it does for me. Yeah. Or that's what does it for me, if that makes sense.
They're definitely on the angelic realm. We hadn't had a cat. God, I haven't had a cat for 30 some years. I was allergic. And then when I was thinking about getting one, I talked to you about it on your channel. Mm-hmm. And you were like, yep, get it. And I was asking you because I had a dog, and my dog is special. Special.
Aren't they all? Yep.
He is. And he can be really persnickety, but like a cat. Yeah. And they're just perfect together. But so thank you, because that was huge.
I am happy to help anyone who is asking a question. I appreciate anybody trusting me to give them information. I appreciate. Hypnocity said, my dad taught me mirror work. He said, at the end of the day, you have to look yourself in the eye. Exactly. My theory is this, similar. You can't lie to yourself. So when you look yourself in the eye in the mirror and you're looking at your reflection, yeah, it's only truth happening right there.
Yeah. No, Annie Bear says, so true. Oh, bye, Sonia. Good to see you, honey.
Sonia, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. She belly dances too. I love that.
Yep. I don't know where all my fur babies are right now. I have no fur babies anywhere near me, which is very odd.
My cat's running around outside, I think. He decided to be an outdoor cat. So not that I wanted it, but he's a gray blur. Okay. And what does intuition mean to you?
Oh my gosh. So I just had this show with my niece the other night where we talked about our intuition, and meaning ours, like that we share, which is weird. It's a knowing. It's a knowing that seems to be like constantly evolving in terms of understanding what that knowing is and what that knowing can do, what it means. And it means trust. There's a level of support that I feel that, like, I almost don't want to say this out loud because I don't want to, like, put that out in the universe, but I don't ever feel like if I am opening up to do readings that I'm ever going to be not supported by that connection, because I asked to be supported by that connection because I trust it implicitly. I trust it like I trust my husband, or like I trust my animals. Do you know what I mean? Or like I trust my sister. It just is. I don't second guess it. I don't question it. And I think because I trust it, I'm able to sort of put it out on the table, for lack of a better way to put it, and just let it guide me.
Yeah. I think,
makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I think when you look at intuitives, a lot of us have been through so much trauma in our lives,
Mm-hmm.
and we almost have to go inward, right?
Yes.
To find trust, to be vulnerable with spirit is so much easier than to be vulnerable a lot of times with somebody that's in the physical form.
Mm-hmm.
At least I've felt that way for a long time.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. It's a huge growth opportunity in a way, but it's an effing growth opportunity, isn't it?
Well, I mean, when you yes, and when you think about it in this term, or from this viewpoint, it took you maybe 20, 30, 40 years to figure out that you were wounded in some form or fashion.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to fix it in a hot minute, and when you've gone through the journey for some time. So it's just gonna make me cry. I'm a mess. Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely.
I hope you'll come back though.
When you miss the journey, you're missing so much. For example, that moment when I was doing that journal entry, if I was focused on the outcome, that breeds my anxiety, makes it higher, and I would have never had that realization.
Yeah.
Sometimes the journey is the beauty part. It's not necessarily the outcome. And for me, specifically, having anxiety, I can't live in the outcome. That is dangerous territory for me. And because that is my normal, is to go there, because I want to control the situation, so I feel like I have a better handle on any potential fears coming in and messing things up for me. I want to make sure that everything is perfect, right? That like nothing can penetrate the little square that I put everything in. And so I have to really pull myself out of the outcome and live the journey, right? So if you phoned me up and said, hey, Kelly, do you want to come to my house on Saturday for a barbecue? Well, today's Thursday, so I could probably do that and it would be successful. But if it was Thursday and you asked me if I wanted to come next Saturday or 3 Saturdays from now, friend, within 2 days, I would be in a total panic. I would beat myself up. I would find every reason why I should not go, why I can't go, because I'm going to make a mess of it. I'm going to screw it up. Everyone's going to not like me. Nobody's going to talk to me. You're going to think I'm a whack job. All of your friends are going to look at me sideways. There's going to be all kinds of judgment, because what if this and what if that, and oh my God, and what if it rained? I mean, and then I would talk myself right out of it and exclude myself from the opportunity of having that moment. So I cannot live in the outcome.
Well, and we're really not supposed to, are we?
Well, a lot of people, but you see, our a lot of things that we do in our life is outcome sort of oriented, right? Where are you going to be in 5 years, right? How many job interviews have we gone to where they say to you, "What's your 5-year plan?" How
Yeah.
many partners have you met that have said to you, "What's your 5-year plan?" How many conversations have you had with your parents before you went off to college or university, or, "Hey, mom, you know what? I want to quit school and join the drama club down the street or the comedy club," and then they say, "Well, what's your 3-year plan?" You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
have to navigate that until you recognize that it's not healthy for you, and some people do really well at it.
Yeah. Well, and goals and
Not one of them.
intentions are different, I think, than not during the journey. I think that's a real Zen Buddhist thing about it is the journey, and I think there's a proverb, a Buddhist proverb about that.
Yeah.
And it is all about the journey, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Going with that river.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why that river like resonates with me, because that's what this is.
Yeah.
For me, right? I'm always like going like this. I don't know that I would know what it meant to be like, straight or smooth sailing, but and that's totally okay. It might not have been okay before, but it's totally okay now, because now I feel like I'm like one of those bumper cars. You remember the bumper cars when we were younger?
Oh God,
Right,
yeah.
with the foam all around them, or the rubber. Now I got rubber, I got foam. I'm resilient, so I can bump up against the ledge and bounce back and be like, okay, all right, I got this. I'm good.
Yeah. Hypnicity says to all 60 somethings go through this stuff.
Yeah,
If we're evolving, we do.
yeah,
I'm going to say that, right?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Look, we have a Charlotte sighting
Where's Charlotte?
on the
Oh,
floor, but
oh, there she is. She's so pretty.
she is a cat.
Is she all black?
No, not at all. She looks like she ran into some paint.
Oh, I love it.
No, she literally has a perfect stripe down the center of her face. One side is black. She has all the different colors, like the coppers and the beiges and the tans and the browns.
Oh, how beautiful.
She is the biological sister of Quincy. She weighs like 5 pounds and Quincy's like 15 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well,
And here she comes, because we were talking about her.
oh, she's so cute.
Charlotte, you coming for a visit?
So do you have like a special place, like when you feel your anxiety start to grow or something? Do you have like a comfort place or just when you want to meditate, anything?
Outside anywhere. Like I said before, or in the beginning, this is Charlotte. Hi. I live in Canada, and it gets really cold here, and it's not that uncommon to see me out minus 20-degree weather with my park and my booties on, because I just, sometimes you feel like the walls are closing in, or you just need a breath of fresh air. Outside is my happy place. It always provides me a sense of calm that I can't get on the inside.
It's beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Hypnicity says paintbrush towel, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julie. That's very kind of you to say.
Yeah, Julie. Very sweet. Well, young lady, thank you so much for being here.
You are 100% welcome, and thank you for having me. Do you mind if can we pull a card for the collective? What do you think?
I would love to do that. Let's do that.
I'm going to pull a postcard from Spirit.
Ooh.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah.
They're lovely cards. They literally look like postcards. I'm a loud shuffler. Sorry, friends.
No, it's good. I'm glad you are.
Do you want to know something that I do that's weird? Well, people that follow me know that I do this weird thing. I color coordinate all my cards.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the deck or the deck?
Like the cards that I have chosen out are color coordinated.
I love it.
I will explain what I mean. I'm going to drop my camera down, so avert your gaze, friends. So
Ooh,
we go
nice.
from the rady orangey yellows to the rady orangey yellows to the more yellows and oranges to the more goldy yellows to the yellow.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You are organized, young lady. If you saw my desk, you'd scream right now.
Yeah.
Been moving things around like crazy.
I don't know why I do that. It's kind of weird, actually.
No, I think
it's a little
great.
OCD.
I admire it. I admire it. Yeah, I think it's wonderful. You go ahead. You're
Okay.
the best.
So, look at what's on the front of the card. So we have these two lovely cherubs, sort of in an embrace with a butterfly. Right? Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
So they're kind of long.
Oh, we've got time.
Yeah, sit back, make yourself a sandwich. Everything comfy. Dearest you, do you ever wonder whether your ideas and inspiration might be coming through your soul rather than generated from your mind alone? We are here to tell you we are always whispering in your ear about your highest good. We are conduits for spirit, letting you know you are a living channel for this awesome co-creative energy. When you're feeling inspired, it means you heard us. Inspiration means spirit is breathing through you. Inspiration needs your human passion to keep it going so you can make a difference in the world. So keep moving on what inspires you. Let yourself be led into new experiences and know that this is why you are on the earth. Your purpose is to discover your spirited nature and to bring forth through your efforts whatever is meant to be. Wondrous miracles have a way of showing up when you let inspiration propel you forward. You are so loved.
That's beautiful.
Checking in with yourself. Right? Check in with yourself. Find what inspires you, what speaks to you, and go after it.
Love it. Love it. So I'm getting inward revolution. So just check in, exactly checking in, exactly what you just said. Making sure that you're grounded, going outdoors like Kelly does, making sure that you see the stars still. Look up, look around you, notice everything. Check in with Father Sky and Mother Earth. And then look at your planets here in your grid. Shine your light, connect with Mother Nature and shine, shine, shine. So, like a light.
That's it. Shine your light, my friend.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. The world deserves to see your sparkle, and you deserve for the world to see your sparkle. So shine on.
Yeah.
Nothing infuriates me more than when people allow a thing, whether it be a person, a situation, or whatever, like dull their light. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And we do that to ourselves so often.
Oh, heck, all the time.
Okay. Yeah. Carol, be careful.
Carol.
Okay, honey? Yeah. Be careful. Go downstairs or to the basement or wherever you need to go. Oh, Hypnicity. I love that song. This little light of mine.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. So everybody be safe, be in your light. Check in.
May I do some shameless self-promotion? I have a show coming on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Mel Dorr is joining me, the Aloha Shirt psychic. We're going to be celebrating moms. So we'll be doing some questions. We'll be talking about our moms. We'll be sharing some funny stuff. And if for nothing else, I could use this support because it's Mother's Day and that's always a tough one for me. So I hope that you guys can tune in. And thank you so much for having me on. This has been a delight. And I'm so appreciative of your support.
Oh, honey, thank you for being here. And thank you for sharing with us and being vulnerable. So,
my pleasure, my friend.
Holding space. All right, everybody.
Thanks.
Namaste. Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes.